Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
I like Excel and retro computer games, so I've decided to combine the two. I've recreated the 1976 classic arcade game Breakout in Excel in a single formula. No special Excel functions, no VBA code and no macros, just logic, lookups and arithmetic. Breakout was developed by Atari, specifically a certain Steve Wozniak in 1976. It took heavy inspiration from one game and became equally inspirational to another. Pong was already fantastically successful by 1976, but had one big drawback. You needed a friend. Breakout is basically a one-player Pong rotated 90 degrees. Player 2 is replaced by 8 rows of bricks. The story of Breakout is that you are a prisoner using a mallet to knock your ball and chain against the prison wall to escape. Can't be any more stupid than taking 20 years to break out of prison with a tiny rock hammer. The best way to get to your destination is to have a map. This game grid is my Breakout map. Breakout operates in blocks of 4 and blocks of 16. I've put 2 sets of numbers on the x-axis and y-axis going up in 1s and 4s. There are 7 colours in Breakout: black, white, blue for the paddle, red, orange, green and yellow for the bricks. The actual colours in Breakout were just black and white, but like in Space Invaders, coloured translucent plastic was stuck to the screen. My map shows the location of the paddle and the bricks, along with the border around the gameplay area. There are 112 stationary bricks across 8 rows in 4 different colours that need to be cleared for you to break out. Once you break out of one level, you have another level, and then that's it, you've won. Easy, just 2 levels to beat the game. Nishikado, the inventor of Space Invaders, said that he took Breakout as his template, although there are a few differences. For example, the bricks don't move. I mean, can you imagine anything as unrealistic as animating bricks? This is where I'm going to keep track of which bricks get hit, just like I did with the invaders in the Space Invaders video. To help me with applying the colours to the gameplay, I've added the rows on which the cellophane plastic was applied so that I can overlay the colours easily. I use some simple calculations off to the side to make the formula a bit easy to write. The cement, if you will, to my brick wall. The formula in each cell is like the bricks, and I'm the bricklayer. First, a simple count of the number of horizontal pixels I need from 1 to 228. The border takes up 4 pixels each, so this axis groups the pixels in 4s. The bricks are 16 pixels long, so this axis is a repeating count from 1 to 16. The left border is in the first group of 4, and the right border is in the last, or 57th group of 4. This axis is doing all the hard work of defining the border, and it's adding a blank between each brick. The next axis is grouping the cells into 16s, so that I can keep track of the bricks. This axis is to place the paddle. The values in this axis will change as the paddle moves. And finally the ball. As the ball moves across the screen, the values in this axis will also change. That's sorted one dimension. To bring this game into the second dimension, I need to sort the y-axis. Because where would we be without the y-axis? The only cake you could eat would be a pancake, and it would be a very thin pancake. But on the plus side, so would you be. A lot of what's in the x-axis is replicated in the y-axis. A count of the pixels, counting the pixels in groups of 4, and a repeating count of 16. On the y-axis, I need a repeating count of 4 for the brick heights, and setting a flag to put the gap between the brick layers. This axis refers to the brick grid so that it knows how to colour each section, colouring the bricks and the paddle. Lastly, adding the reference to move the ball in the y-axis. Now the environment has been built, it's time to add in the moving parts, the main one being the ball. Breakout took a major influence from Pong. The ball speeds up in Pong after 4 hits and once more after 12 hits, and exactly the same happens in Breakout. We're still a few decades away from modern graphics the kids are used to these days, so the ball is a square. The ball needs the border to bounce off, so I'll add that as well. First the sides, then the top. The dream play is to break through a column of bricks and then let the ball bounce around at the top, taking out the bricks from above. The rebound direction from the breakout paddle used Pong as a starting point, but made it more difficult. In Pong, you could hit the ball directly back at player 2 in a straight line, but not in Breakout. Every time you hit the ball, it comes off at an angle. Breakout was made even harder with some additional functionality in the paddle. If you made the dream play of breaking through a single column of bricks, you had to cope with the nightmare of having to continue playing with a paddle half the size. Now to bang your head against a brick wall, well, rather hit your balls against a brick wall. Don't search for that online, you'll get lost in old Jackass videos. Because I had done all the hard work with the YAxis, the bricks were really easy to set up. First add the bricks to the right location, then make them the right colour and the game is ready to play. And here it is, the simple formula for Breakout. The ball, border, paddle and the bricks. My smallest formula yet. You don't have to be called Steve to be associated with computers, but it helps. If you know anything about these two chaps, you might know that there was a famous feud between them, and it was all because of Breakout. Atari wanted a new game. They wanted it quick, and they wanted it cheap. Most computer games took 6 months to develop at this point, and used about 200 microchips per game. Jobs and predominantly Wozniak built Breakout in just 4 days, going without sleep, and did it with only 44 chips. Jobs and Wozniak got the money for meeting the deadline, but there was an extra part to the deal. If the game was made with fewer than 50 microchips, then they'd get a bonus. Jobs didn't tell Wozniak about this addition and pocketed the money himself. Let's see Breakout one more time. Don't forget to put in the comments your favourite old games, and I'll animate the best suggestions in Excel. Thanks for watching.
And leave you here for always and always and always.